Game Club Day.
It's Game Club Day, starring us. We're talking about games. It's the Game Club Day, and I murdered all my guests.
Yay!
Yay! Okay,
Anyway,
so here we are. We played Control, and by we played, I mean Scott and I finished Control,
I got the platinum.
and Julian and Jock rage quit, which is what I did during Sonic Frontier. So I can't judge too much.
this game won 80 awards.
This game was a heavy award winner in 2019.
The fuck? Was
Heavy.
20?
I don't
Were we
know
bored in
why.
2019? Were we bored?
In case you aren't catching the like sort of previewing their thought through their tone. Uh, the game club leans heavily towards the negative on this particular game. I'm more positive by far, even though I didn't love this game, and I don't think it should have been game of the year for anybody. But there were aspects of this game that I did enjoy. But I don't know, how far did you guys get, Julian? Oh, did I lose you? I don't hear you.
No. I'm just
Hey,
trying to
okay.
think of what I was doing because I kind of just like at certain points of the actual game I checked out mentally. I'm not gonna lie. Um, uh, I beat the first boss and then I played for another 2 hours, being lost and confused, and then I stopped.
And the first boss was Tomasi, I believe.
Hmm.
The first time you fight Tomasi, yeah.
Yeah. So you actually don't. I totally forgot about him until the end. The
Yeah, until
game.
you find out like he's a side post game content boss where it's
Wait.
like, oh yeah,
Well, I just forgot we didn't finish him off. I forgot that he escaped because so much
yeah.
other stuff happened. He wasn't a thing anymore in my head. But yeah. So that's very early on. I don't think that's even chapter 2. Uh, And Scott, you finished the game and platinumed it. So you played. Did you play through all the DLC as well, or did you skip the
No,
DLC?
I didn't play through the DLC because of the fact that I know at least one specific one deals with Alan Wake.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
Um,
yeah, it's supposed to be
so I
pseudo in the
didn't
Alan Wake
want.
universe, but also it's not.
No,
Uh,
I
it's gonna
I
be
can
it's
explain it.
DLC.
in
I
the
played through
Alan
like
it's
half
in
of
the
it.
Alan Wake universe. It's just not the DLC is the only thing like directly connected to Alan Wake. The others are just like there's references in some of the like crap you can grab up, like some of the dossiers and stuff. But like
Yeah.
the main plot is perfectly fine without Alan Wake, but the DLC I figured would specifically spoil some Alan Wake stuff for me, so I didn't want to go into the DLC.
Uh, Kind of. It doesn't tell you the hows or whats, but you sort of get an idea what the ending is. Because I played through half of it. One of the things that we're gonna discuss is the balancing in this game is all wonky, and I didn't realize that Alan Wake that I was going into the Alan Wake DLC, and it was like they were way higher level than I was. And so I
Yeah,
powered through until it got to the point where it was like, you got to clear this arena. And I was like, I just spent 25 minutes doing this, and because of one mistake at the end, I died and I had to do it all over again. No. We're gonna leave this and maybe put it off for some other time. But it's weird on that DLC because everybody likes to be really kitschy and sort of winky about it and be like, oh, it's the Alan Wake sequel or it's the official. It's not. It's like they took a concept from Alan Wake and they put it in this game, and this game like fleshes out the background of like the hows and whys of all the bullshit that happened in Alan Wake. But Alan Wake 2 is gonna be the Alan Wake sequel. This is more
yeah.
like a fun
Again,
side thing.
it's in the universe. Like it takes place in the shared collective universe,
Yeah.
but it's not like really connected to Alan Wake.
Yeah.
You can play it completely separate, and like it's fine. Or you can play it after having played Alan Wake, and you'll probably understand a little bit more. Like you'll know what an AWE is. I'm guessing.
I never
Along with
played Alan Wake. I have
along
no
with
idea what was
probably
going
an
on there.
OOP.
Yeah.
Like you'll probably some of those terms you might understand. I don't know. I haven't played Alan Wake yet, but I could see it like that popping up near the end of Alan Wake or something.
Yeah.
But as far as the actual like game, there's not really references to Alan Wake other than the DLC and a few like dossiers and stuff that if you know the events of Alan Wake, you can be like, oh, they're talking about Alan Wake.
Yeah, like the lake incident and whatever.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, that's what they're talking about. But if you didn't know that's what Alan Wake was, it's like, oh, if I didn't know that this was in the universe of Alan Wake, I would never have realized. If I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it ties enough of it together where you're like, oh, when they say lake here, they mean lake like the other thing over there. But it's like it's really a I don't want to say nothing, but it's not really significant to the story of Control. Which I guess we should probably go over. What is the story of Control? It's really so they do this thing where they sort of bring you in. How do I guess we should start with the concept. You play as Jessie. She's looking for her brother who was kidnapped when her and him were attacked when they were children.
You play Claire Redfield.
She finally finds the government agency, and when she enters, some crazy stuff is already going on. She gets tied into it by being thrust upon the role of director. And as you play the game, you realize what that entails and who she is and the significance of her brother and what they did. But that's the general gist of where you're starting in this game. The story is good, but it's very flat. Julian, why don't you walk us through your experience because you had the shortest time in it, and like, I kind of want to know like what popped you off.
Okay, so in the beginning, I was like, okay, this is like a thing, you know, it's like random like fucking Spire
Wait.
digital looking like fucking shit or something. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it with like some kind of astral plane or something. Like outside of like the intro where I'm walking through like what looks like someone's generic ass office building, and then shit goes down, and um like and then suddenly you go from the astral plane to gun in person, and oh god, I'm trying to remember all of this because this was over a week ago that I did this, and I think I purged it from myself because I was just so angry about how like, and then so what I remember is I was essentially in some weird office building where weird shit was going on. I could fucking like I could it's like she could hear things or something. I think. And then
Yeah, she had like these weird premonitions.
yeah, and then suddenly I would be like thrust into this like world of fucking eyeball of this like red that bothered my eyes if I fucked up shit. If I ever like died and fucked something up, it would be like I'm stuck here for longer and I don't want to be here anymore because it's like it's so It's like it was like in the beginning it was just so aggressively red. And I'm like, stop. Thank God they don't do. I don't remember if they did it again, but I just remember that like for a lot of the areas I was in, it's like constantly changing like the space and how it looks or something, and I was just like, okay, and then like um the story really did kind of like leave me just like, okay, I get it. It's just like I'm confused. It's like I'm supposed to be just as confused as she is. It's the whole typical. It's the atypical. You have thing and have to do such and blah because. Eh?
Yeah, it's that you're in there, and by the time you realize that something is happening, it's too late to escape. And since she doesn't know anything, you don't know anything. You and your character are like learning together.
Yeah, and then like I do remember like weird government people showed up, and I think they were robots or something.
So the enemy in this game is called
They're
the
not
Hiss.
robots. The Hiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody that was in the building, if they weren't wearing a special device, so this game sort of mixes supernatural with technology and bureaucracy. So everybody that was in the building, if they weren't wearing the special harness, they got infected and corrupted. And you learn as you play through the game that once you're corrupted, you can't come back. So they kind of just have to live and die by that.
It's like, oops, well, oops, they're dead now. Sorry.
So
Yeah,
when
much.
you start the game, you're given. I was sort of weird on the tone. It felt like it was going to be a horror game at first, but this game is far from horror.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I
very
thought at first
action.
because it's
Like,
just the
To your point, it's very unsettling at the beginning. It's not
Oh, yeah.
quite creepy, but it's unsettling.
I felt like something
You're
is
very much
wrong.
thrust into a mystery, of like something is weird, something is going on,
I'm uncomfortable.
but it very quickly devolves into, I don't know, like a power fantasy essentially for her. Like, because it's just, oh, yep, you have the power to defeat the Hiss, you have the power to do this and that, and you're now the director, and
It's like save save
like
save
you're
us,
now the only one
Ginger
that's
Lady
like
Jesus.
immune to the Hiss and
It's
can save the world. So
like save us,
it's up to
Ginger
you
Lady
now.
Jesus. Wait, what?
But it's like it's a fine. Like the intro is probably one of the better parts to me of the game.
Turn this down. This is very loud.
Like
I
as
see
it
what you
went
mean.
on, I just got
I didn't want to turn on
more
the
and more
camera.
confused at this game. Like I think the intro was like the better parts of the game.
Yeah, so when you're introduced, you're sort of given this weird pseudo psycho like not premonition, but sort of like this remembrance, and the idea is that you are handed a gun, and if you can use the gun, you become the director, and the director is this person who leads the Bureau of Control. The Bureau of Control is a federal government agency that handles items of, or they have official terms for it, but for
OOPs,
yeah, objects of
items of power,
power. But for
or
layman,
object.
if you ever like wondered about big, what are the things they call like Bigfoot and the chupacabra
Cryptoid
and
or cryptids or
yeah,
cryptids. Sorry,
cryptids. So they
IC,
sort of take this idea
SCVs?
of cryptids, whether they're creatures or ideas or like spiritual things, and they
yeah,
make them so
possessed
that
objects.
they make it so that they exist, and this this agency sort of deals with handling them and controlling. Control really is a big part of it. Yeah, they control the information that's given
Yeah, and attempt to
in the
control the actual OOPs and stuff like that. Um, I will say, like, again, that's part of what I actually was really excited about with this game, was I loved the concept of, like, what if these objects did have these powers and stuff like that, and, things of that nature. One of my favorite TV shows back in the day was a show called Warehouse 13, if anyone's ever heard of that. Very fun show. But it's very similar to this in a way of, like, it was, oh, well, this is, like John Wilkes Booth's gun, and it has the power to, like, headshot people or something like that because it was
I have not shared
endued by
social media
different
stuff.
historical people and stuff like that. So it was similar in this aspect. Warehouse 13, though, they were trying to just store them away from people instead of controlling them. So I was very excited going into this one about that, and then I feel like they just didn't do a lot with most of those. Like they just came down to like side quests, and that was about it.
yeah, it isn't in the forefront because, and see, here's the big problem that I had here. The forefront of this game is Jessie and the mystery of her brother. But the thing is, that story, not only is it resolved really quickly and
It also doesn't pop up
obviously,
for like a little while, like fully pop up, because immediately like she is looking for him. That's why she's there, and then the hiss kind of just takes over for a while, and then it's like, oh yeah, my brother. Like,
so here's the thing: is that they give you reason to put how to. It's okay. I want to. This is gonna be kind of a long thought. It's really weird because she makes it very clear that she wants to see her brother, but she's level-headed. She's not a child.
right.
So when something comes up and it's more important than what she wants, she's willing to put that to the side and handle it. This game is very convoluted in that those things keep popping up. You're like rolling your eyes, like, oh my god, how long is this going to keep going on? Where I keep getting distracted and having to go on these extra things, and then suddenly, boom, like less than halfway through the game, she finds her brother. He turns himself in, and he just tells you like straight up, like I'm his corrupted. I'm his
Yeah.
corrupted, and I want you to go figure out the truth of this thing. The problem is that figuring out the truth of this thing isn't very complicated. The story between her and her brother is that she's looking for him, she finds him, and she tries to save him from himself. and that's sort of where it begins and ends for her.
Yeah,
She
and
doesn't
the
really
only
change much.
big mystery is like, oh, well, she was the one they were also after, and like the other subject or whatever, subject 11, I think it was, or something like that. It's like, okay, and
And then that's where the other
like,
part of the frustration
just
is that the control bureau and the history of it and the people involved are way more interesting than Jesse. Like
yeah,
tremendously more interesting. The
I
history
totally forgot her
here.
name was Jessie. To be honest,
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
I wasn't just speaking
I
in third
literally
person.
called I literally called her Claire.
No,
I
yeah.
oh
kept
no,
calling her Claire
She's
Redfield.
Jesse.
yeah, her name is Jessie.
And she
Discount Claire
yeah,
Redfield.
she's just not her story isn't interesting because she doesn't have any real growth. She's a flat
No,
character. She is who she is, and she's not a bad character. She's not
no, I mean
like
she's a
annoying.
decently defined character. It's just there's nothing for her to grow from in this.
Yeah, she
Like,
resolves her conflict really quickly.
because even like the conflict with her brother is pretty much done after like a chapter or two.
From what it sounds like,
Um,
it from
the
what it
bigger
sounds
issue is then the hiss again, and it well, no, then they decide to do the whole like subject 11 thing for like 2 chapters, and that really just felt how should I put this? It felt underwhelming because nothing gets resolved by it. She's like, "Oh, they wanted me as well," and stuff, and it's like, okay, and they got you. You're direct. They wanted you to be director, and guess what? You are. Like
Yeah,
what? Like what is that? What is the deal with this? Like why is this significant? Like, yeah, it happened. Like
yeah,
there's nothing to prevent. There's nothing. No shocking new information other than oh, they wanted me to be director. Okay, and
yeah.
like why was this like a chapter of reveals and him telling you go find the truth and it's like that was the truth was that yeah this is why I can be director right now is because I was pretty much like they wanted me to be director
I am
because I
super
had the
special.
gift essentially for it like
I
okay
am the
and
super special.
like like I
But
felt like that
why?
was a very underwhelming mystery. I would have liked to see more of maybe a conflict with some of the people she's been helping come up from that. You know, like
So
nothing. Like
leading or continuing on from my earlier idea is that the more interesting part of this game is the bureau and the history and how and who it's run by, because you're sort of given this idea that the director is the leader, but then it turns out the director was not always the director. There was a previous director, and it turns out that they were led by somebody else who developed this, and the bureau grew in
well,
leaps and bounds
yeah,
in
and
different
there's
ways.
also the whole hotline that
Yeah, and
basically gives them orders and
and that's what I'm about to get to, which is that
yeah.
you sort of learn that there's this sort of supernatural entity that has given them information and sort of leads them, but it tells you to do things, and then as you do like side missions and fight side bosses, it's like whatever you do, don't listen to them, just trust us. And it's very misleading, and so you're given this idea that, like, who benefits from listening to the supernatural thing, where do they really come from, and that mystery becomes really interesting.
And
But
who is
because this
really in
game,
control?
yeah, and so this game, it wants to focus on Jesse so much that more interesting story is sidelined, and you're sort of left saying, "Well, I wanted to know more of that. That's way more.
Well,
That's a way better story than what I'm getting here."
there's also some of the side quests that have like interesting things that just go unresolved. I don't know if you did any of the side quests, but like you have the fridge.
Mhm. I did that.
Okay. That thing comes back later in another side quest.
Yeah, I did that too.
And it's like, what's the deal with this thing? There's just like this whole eldritch god that you
Does it
meet twice and kill,
double what?
and it's like, what?
It tells you
I
in the files. Do you want to
yeah,
know
but like,
what that was about? Like,
but there should also be more to it, like than just that, than just a file entry.
yeah. So, what do you call it? You're sort of led to believe that objects of power have some kind of entity in them. And the idea behind this particular one was that it did not listen to the giant inverted pyramid. That's a thing. I forget
Yeah,
exactly what the name is. but it didn't
I
listen
honestly
to
don't
it,
remember.
so it was banished. And instead of just like being killed or destroyed or whatever happens to these things, it found its way into this fridge and hid. And as you investigate it, you fight it, and it's this just giant cryptid monster with just a single eye, and you chase it away, and then you fight it again and you chase it away. And the idea is like, well, maybe it's still alive, maybe it's out there somewhere, maybe there's more of it, but you're never given any resolution on that. It's another thing that's way more interesting than the story we're
See, yeah,
presenting.
and I also wonder why it was killing people with the fridge if you looked away. Like, like why was that what it manifested as just because it was hiding there? Like, why did it hiding there cause that? And when it was hiding in a different object, it was causing a different thing. It wasn't killing people for looking away. So it's like, okay, so what exactly is causing the effect? Is the effect random based, on the or like just a random effect when some of these creatures go into these things or connect to these things? Like, there's also the whole mold situation that was going on. That was a lot more interesting to the plot. It also was just kind of like, yeah, you clean it up and then we just call it a day.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even do that one. I saw the mold and I was like, I don't understand what's happening. I haven't done that side quest yet.
It's just like an interdimensional mold that they're like, yeah, it acts like the things from Last of Us. Just, infects you and turns you into like mold zombies. And then
Don't you mean like Resident Evil 8?
Sure. But it's just like, it's one of those things of like, yeah, you just kill it and they're like, we're not sure where exactly it came from, but we've dealt with it for now. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I'm
Like,
gonna lead into once again, like, it's a more interesting because if you read the files, you sort of learn like these things are influenced by the collective consciousness,
right.
which is a really interesting concept. The idea that everybody knows that like a gun is dangerous, so when something needs to be dangerous, it'll become a gun or it'll find a gun just because like that's what people think is dangerous.
Yeah.
And but they don't lean into that. It's all sidelined.
Yeah, it's all side quests or paper that you have to find. And
I
it's
would
like,
not even give it the benefit of calling it a side quest. It's you can literally find a file on a cabinet in
depends on the
an
thing, but
office
yeah, like
somewhere,
it's a lot of it is just, I mean, there's I think like 500 different like files to collect in this game.
and they write
And
it. And
it's,
I'll show it on stream because I'm
yeah,
playing
and there's a
through it right
lot of
now.
really interesting stuff. It's just a matter of like, if you didn't find it, you'd never know.
And they do
And
this
it's
thing.
all more interesting than the actual plot is the problem.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier is like they focus on Jesse and her brother thing, but it's resolved super early. It's super obvious what's happening. You know how it's gonna end, and it's like all flat. There's no twist or turn or anything. Whereas the world they're in is far more interesting, and that's what
Yeah.
should have been the focus.
Well,
And
and
I was just
even
gonna say, I have these files on here. You can see like there's just redactions. It's
yeah,
really annoying to sort of figure out through. If you're already a person that doesn't want to read these things because you can't be bothered to, knowing that you have to like clue in what the word's gonna be and then
yeah,
tie in a file you found in the first hour to the 14th hour and like, oh, those two are related. You're never gonna do that. You're gonna go to
no.
YouTube and find somebody to tell you that that's what happened,
Yeah,
and that
especially if
that
you're not interested in what the fuck the story's trying to say.
Well, and even then, you have to be very interested to even bother with a YouTube video of like, and if you're just playing through the main story, it's not that interesting that you're going to be that intrigued to go in and learn more about the world.
Yeah, because it's not.
And I mean, even at the end of the game, like, let's be honest, nothing's really resolved. She's now the director. The Hiss still are a threat. The controls Bureau of Control is still on lockdown, and that's it. That's where it ends.
yeah. So to sort of for people that haven't played the game, I'm just gonna sort of spoil
Yeah.
what happens here.
If we haven't already.
Yeah, well, just because I've been sort of pussyfooting around it, but so Jesse's looking for her brother, right? So Jesse finds out that he is being held. He's always been held. They've been trying to groom him to be a director, but he had violent outbursts and tendencies, and so he was put into his own quarantine. She wants to go find him and speak to him and break him out or whatever she wants to do. She wants to reconnect with him, but he lets himself become infected by the Hiss, the enemies of the game, and he leaves and turns himself into your new friends, like the office. And he's just like I wanted this. I don't want to be director. I want this whole thing to fall apart. And if you want to know the reasons why I want that, go over here and do this. And by the time you realize what's happening, he wants to kill that inverted pyramid that's guiding you in this whole thing, and you stop him in a very anticlimactic way. It's
Yep.
literally an arena shooter. But okay, I'm gonna come back to this when we talk about combat because I need to.
Yeah.
That part was so confusing for me. But you go through this arena fighter. She touches him, and now the hiss is out of him, but he's in a coma. Then she's like, "Okay, I'm the director now. Let's end the game." So she resolved her. She could have. It makes you think. It makes you wonder. Like, if that's all that needed to happen, why didn't she just open the door when she first saw him and clear out the hiss then? Because it would have been the same ending, other than again giving you more context for the world, which is the more interesting story.
Yeah. Like it gives you breadcrumbs for a more interesting story, and that's it. Like the actual plot of this game is not very good. The the plot, like the world, is very interesting and it's very deep. Like there's so much, like you were mentioning before, there's so much lore that you can find sprinkled across, and stuff like that, and side quests or side content that will give you more lore on the world. But that's not the game. Like that's not the main part of the game. The main part of the game just tells you bare minimum, and that's it.
And she's not even
I
that
also
interested in
don't
this
think we've
world.
no. I also don't. Do we ever find out exactly what happened to that professor dude?
No, well, kind of. So throughout the
I
game,
know we.
you're like given clues and concepts of how the bureau got infected, and you learned that there were two main people involved. There was the previous director who you inherited the
Alright,
director
I am
title
Yeah.
fully
from.
operational.
Hey, Jock.
Alright.
And you learn about this doctor named Dr. Darling, who's a really interesting character. I liked him
I like the little
quite a bit.
videos.
But oh yeah, they're great.
Those were some of my favorite parts of the game.
Also, they had a okay. There's another thing that I'm gonna have
The,
to
the little
mark down.
children's show was also
That was awesome
Yeah,
too. Yeah, really
very good.
creepy. Really
Oh yeah,
honestly,
creepy, dude.
honestly,
absolutely creepy.
that's little children's show thing supported my theory of like, yeah, this chick is clearly insane, having some kind of mental break now, and like all of this is hallucinated.
She's
She
not,
wasn't though.
but
Like they explained like that,
yeah.
but the for Doctor Darling, the previous director was infected by the hiss, and he's the one that spread it. And Doctor Darling realized that almost too late and got himself infected by an opposing force to the hiss. And so the idea is like his body is gone, so he like dead is not the right way to describe it, but his body is gone. And he could show up in the future. Maybe he's in another dimension. Maybe his consciousness is part of the
Okay,
collective.
but yeah, we still don't have a definitive answer on
No,
anything that
it's left
happened.
open-ended
Spawns
on
in
purpose.
another
Which
Yeah.
is again,
another
Dr.
Alan
Darling is
Wake
such an
universe
interesting
plot.
character. Why didn't they resolve that story? Why are they doing this? Game was all world building. It was all world building. And
Well,
it's a really interesting world, but
the problem is it's world building, but focuses on her. You only get glimpses of the world building.
Yep.
Like it's like, oh, here's her plot, and then here's a little sprinkle of like a more interesting world and lore, stuff like that. And it's like, but I want to see more of that. Well, too bad. You're
Too bad.
getting
Back to
Jesse's
Confused
story.
Girl.
And it's like, to your point before, I don't think Jesse's a bad character. I just don't think the story was very good for her.
yeah,
Because again, she didn't. There was nothing to grow from. There was nothing to learn from. Like she goes in the same way as she comes out. Like there is no difference other than she's now director and that she did find out what happened to her brother, which she already kind of. I mean, she already knew the Control had her brother. It was just a matter of was he still alive and wanting to see him again. It's like, well, okay, she accomplished that, which is great, but it's like it's not really character building. It's just she accomplished a goal, not
Yeah.
necessarily. It never changed her outlook on anything. She still did exactly what she was doing before she found her brother and everything else. And if anything, she's now just, yep, I'm the director, and that's it.
in terms of story, which is all that we've discussed so far, it's very unsatisfying. And I think the reason, in my personal opinion, is I think the reason is the focus was wrong. It should, if unless they change the story, the focus should have been on the world and resolving a mystery of the world rather than Jessie and her personal conflict, because it was just not interesting and there was absolutely no growth for her or her brother.
Yeah.
Now
Like,
that leads us to something that I am very excited to talk about, and it's probably what killed Julian from this game. It's not a movie, it's not a story, it's not a TV show, it's a video game. Julian, how did you feel about playing this video game?
About playing Control.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
big part was combat. This game is surprisingly heavy on combat.
like
yeah.
outside. I mean, you kind of have to like catch. You kind of have to like really put some effort in to get me to like a any shooting game in any capacity. Like some of it was interesting, like the weird hand powers or whatever when she could like telekinesis throw shit at people. That was
I like that. I
that
like
was
that a
neat.
lot.
That was
Yeah.
neat. But like outside of that, like some of the like outside of that, it's just like I'm just playing another shoot. I'm just playing another shooter. It's like maybe if I had like if she didn't have like the gun and all she could do was like use pick up shit and throw things. Fucking because it's the part of Silver the Hedgehog gameplay for fucking Sonic 06 I liked. It's like I like being able to just pick up shit and throwing things at people, but the shooting part I'm not really a fond of. I didn't really care too much about because it takes a lot for me to get into a shooter these days. You gotta have like some kind of stupid. You gotta have a stupid gimmick, and this game has the gimmick, but the shooting. But when it comes to the shooting aspect, I'm like, okay, I have to shoot the gun now. I'm bored. I'm bored, and then it's like, okay, so the gameplay, it's like, okay, it's interesting, but then when they try to throw plot pieces at me, I kind of just get frustrated and I get angry because it's like this is dumb. And then it's just, and then like it's just me running around. It's like, okay, I killed this thing, I killed this thing, found a chest, looted it. It's like I could do this in other games, do this in other games, but like I said, I didn't play a shit ton of it. So outside of the little things I got to do, I guess I'm not really knowledgeable on this.
So I thought that maybe you got frustrated with the gameplay, and maybe that's part of why you quit.
No, it was mostly just the like some of the it's like I have all this supplement. It's like opening up. I have supplement return. It's like, oh, look at this history search. It's like blah 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 blah. Move on. I feel like I wanted this game to be like. When it comes to shooting games, I kind of need people to like. I kind of need something that you like blink and it's like, hey, go do this, because I'm very very easily distracted by stupid shit.
I mean, they did have markers.
Yeah, I think I would just. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I paid attention to that. I think I kind of got caught up in the. It's one of the things where I don't like playing open world games. Some open world games these days because when
Does
they
that,
throw like
does that count as open world?
no, well, no. I'm just saying it as an example. Like some open world games where they toss shit at me, and then I just kind of like get lost in fucking like side quest hell that I don't know what's an actual side quest and what's part of the plot because I stopped focusing on the plot and started focusing on side questing stuff, and that's on me, and that's me a personal me thing. Maybe I could have gotten more out of this if I gave it like a little bit more. I did upgrade some of the abilities or whatever. It's kind of hard to tell what I'm talking about when I'm sitting here fucking not even playing anything that looks remote, not even showing off the actual game because I'm not going back. Never, ever, ever.
So I'm a person that, and you guys know this. I love the art of gameplay and how things are balanced and built. So I'm gonna have a lot to say on this. Scott, do you want to go next? Because I'm gonna.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Uh,
How did you feel about gameplay?
honestly, it was actually more annoying than I really thought it was gonna be because of like, especially the suicide enemies.
Yeah,
Just
fuck those guys.
pissed me the fuck off. Like, they were a pain in the ass to deal with for me. And I feel like the game very much feels very hard at the beginning, then gets slightly easier as you start unlocking a lot of abilities, because telekinesis is pretty good, along with the shield isn't bad, and then especially when you get like the little burst for the shield.
It's too early in the game. It is way too early in the game to be having kamikaze enemies. in my
But
opinion.
I don't know. I enjoyed the gameplay decently enough. It reminded me weirdly of if anyone's heard of Psyops on the PS2
Oh,
and the original Xbox and
that's
stuff.
a deep cut.
It reminded me a lot of that. But what I will say as a compliment to this game is I thought the maps were actually pretty decent. Like I didn't really find myself getting lost very much. Like looking at the map itself, I could pretty much figure out where I was supposed to be going. I feel like they gave enough fast travel locations that like you weren't in too much of an issue doing that. But if I'm gonna be honest, if you ever want to play this game for yourself, you're gonna have the most fun by just turning on invincibility in one-shot mode, where you just kill everything in one shot and just play through. Like I did that for some of the side quest stuff, and it was by far the most fun I had playing this game. Fun fact though, invincibility will not save you from fall damage. You will still die.
Good to know. Good to know.
I jumped off a slightly too high ledge and died.
Really?
I was like, how did you die from that? It was like 2 feet. But yeah, it does not protect you from fall damage. But no, that was my most fun playing the game. But I will say, I honestly found like the map pretty good. Like just the right size, like decent landmarks and stuff like that, so that I never really got lost. I could always kind of figure out where I was going. I will praise that aspect of the game. Also, weirdly enough, I kind of like the sound design with like when you find new areas and stuff like that. Like I love it. I don't know why, but the sound that it makes just is very pleasing to me. I'm probably like in the minority on that one.
We're gonna have to
But I
set up
loved
control ASMR for you.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Including like I loved like the business style text font that would show up when you're like in the financial section or whatever. Like it was just a very business, like what you would see on an email or a business letter, like font telling you what area you were in. I'm like, oh, I don't know, it felt nice and accurate and something like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I hated the random fucking whispering.
Yeah.
Like, that shit just got so annoying. Also, whenever you're using the hotline and like the random gibberish just starts popping out, I'm like, I don't know. This is just stupid. Like I'm sure it's some kind of artsy fartsy symbolic thing, but I'm just like, this is just a bunch of random ass words. This is dumb. For a lot of it. Like, there were parts that made sense, and then parts that were just like, nah, this is just stupid. But, overall, like I said, the most enjoyable fun you're going to have, and my recommendation is turn on invincibility in one-hit mode. And you will have a lot more fun playing this game.
Okay. So, I'm actually playing the game right now, and I'm in a combat section right now. So, if you're watching the stream, you might have an idea of the things that I'm going to be saying, which is like,
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Yo, real quick. I haven't said anything about it.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you were on. How do you? I guess tell us how far you got, and tell us how you feel about the story.
I got to this puzzle. Well, like, so as far as I got to this puzzle where you had to like you had these like shapes and stuff, and you had to put them in like a certain arrangement. It was after you talked to this black woman, and
yeah, I know what puzzle you're talking about.
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be bothered to like figure it out or look it up. I just didn't want to like go look it up.
Bothered with black women.
That's true.
Anyways, so yeah, I was just like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, I'm not coming back to this, right? Because like it was a little bit of a struggle for me to come back to the game every time. Like when I was playing it, but like once I hit like roadblocks like that, I don't feel like playing it anymore. But yeah, so and the thing about the story, my idea of the story is like this feels like somebody at this like feels like somebody at Naughty Dog or someone who makes similar games.
Remedy.
Yeah,
Oh,
uh,
sorry.
no. It's just like I was like somebody at Naughty Dog or someone who makes similar games to like Uncharted and stuff played PT. Like that's the
We brought that up that it felt very horror at the beginning, but it quickly dissipates from horror.
yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like it was like inspired by like PT or Death Stranding or something in the way it was designed. And yeah, like the whispering was weird. I don't know about that, but the and also one of the things that annoyed the shit out of me was constantly hearing her the main characters over the top fucking inner monologue. It's just like, God damn it, get over yourself or whatever's going on. Chill. Oh my god, dude! Like he constantly hearing her is like, should I tell her? No, I've told her enough. It's like, oh my
your
god,
your inner
Yeah, when
messenger.
when you're talking to I forgot the name of it.
Like who?
Yeah.
Who thinks themselves the way she thinks to herself?
Well,
Jesus
she's
Christ.
talking to someone. She's not
Yeah.
thinking it. Like she's talking to the being that's inside of her.
Yeah, so part of the story that
Even the way she
I didn't want to
talks.
get into the doldrums of it, but she and her brother, when they were kids, had an object of power, or an object of power that let them go into other dimensions. And this one creature that was essentially protecting the world from the hiss and keeping them locked up, caught itself or junctions. I don't know if junction is the right word, but like attached itself.
Somehow connected
Yeah,
itself.
attached itself to her and her brother. And so it's been with her since she was a kid. So it's like this inner voice that only she can hear, and she talks to it in her head. I have another. Did you listen to any of the director's videos?
No, I didn't.
I love
I
them.
listened to some. No, I did listen to some. No, I did listen to some of them.
I don't think you could. Did you unlock the hotline that early?
Yeah.
Yeah, you unlock the hotline.
That's the second. That's the third one you get,
Like,
or second or third one you get. I don't know.
Because where Jack
got the dash.
was. Let me.
I'm playing one on my stream. It's just the silhouette of this guy, and he's just speaking like a noir novel from like the 40s.
Yeah, I think he got to. Where's the chapter things?
Yeah, you did for sure. If you got to there,
Yeah, he got to like 6 or 7.
Oh yeah, what was the solution to the fucking puzzle?
Every computer in there has a giant post-it on the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you look at the dry erase board, and it tells you what shape goes to 1, what shape.
Really,
goes to 2.
fucking goddamn it! Yeah, see, I didn't even look at the computer to see like to see those numbers.
You're stupid.
This is
you just thinking in my video game.
Oh,
it's like asking me to read.
You just open up my door and then you just leave. You just turn on leave with no word.
Yeah, she heard you talking about control and was like, "Oh, no, I'm good."
Freaking cats.
Right. No, he's talking of. Oh, Jacques got a cat, so he's learning how cats operate. They will come in the room.
Wait, you got a cat?
Something, and then they'll turn around and leave.
You budget for that cat?
It's yes, we budget. I mean, we have those. Oh right, did you see the budget?
Are we drinking? What budget? What are you talking about?
The budget, like the screenshot of the budget I sent you.
I think whatever you DM'd me, I did see it, but I don't remember it. Let me check one more real quick. Oh yeah, OmniJam's used condom emporium in Takiti. Yeah.
Like Kate just started typing that in, and we just left it. That's the emergency fund.
It's so silly. Then yeah, I really. So, is there anything else you want to say about the story or the characters before you talk about gameplay? Because I really want to get my teeth into this.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing else I want to say about the story. I did enjoy some of the like audio and video stuff. I actually I wasn't supposed to be in the area to see that video with the creepy with the creepy like children's thing.
There's a ton of them.
I got lost for a second. And so I just jumped down this hole and dashed at the end so I didn't die. And it wound up in this area with all these like creepy fucking look like Last of Us rejects. And I was clearly not supposed to be there. But Right, that's where I found that video. But
Yeah, there's multiple of them, and so you should have, if you were exploring around, found like 3 before you got to that point, or before you got to the point you were actually at plot wise.
yeah, but so that's all there is to say about that. So as far as gameplay goes, I like the game. I actually do like shooters, so I like the gameplay a bit. I like the gameplay enough. Like, it was fine as a shooter, and like the telekinesis. God damn, I can't talk right now. Telekinesis powers were actually pretty fun at times. I especially like if you press the button to like use telekinesis and throw things at people, but you don't hold it to bring it up to you. You just like press it. You just grab some random thing in the room and just smack someone in the head with it. Love it. Like just beat them in the head really real quick. Like
Yeah,
love
I
it.
have stuff to say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I really like
Oh.
that. I'm just fighting somebody, and then if somebody's like pressing me, I just like my hand just goes across. I just like swing my hand, and something I'm bashing them in the head, and they just fall on the ground. It's pretty funny.
That reminds me, I was gonna ask, what form of the guns were you all using?
You mean what form of the
Steven's in
guns?
chat. Oh, Steven's in chat.
I'll talk about that as well once it gets to my gameplay thing. 'cause
We
I
mean
have
we
stuff
mean
to
by
say about
what do you mean
guns
by
as well.
you talk about the mods and stuff that you can pick up from
Yeah,
enemy
there's
drops?
different guns.
Oh, I never got a different gun.
Neither did I.
Yeah, there's more than the pistol.
Yeah, you
There are
could
more
have
options.
like, yeah. By the point you were at, Jack, there should have been like 3 guns.
Ah shit! I fucking somehow missed
You just
that.
had to go, yeah, at the safe or at the little fast travel points. You can
Guys, real
use
quick.
the materials you were getting to make new guns.
Guys, real quick.
Ah,
Just to let
I
you
really
know,
enjoyed the revolver one.
Steven's in chat. He's doing his thing.
Hey, Steven.
Oh, Steven.
I'm not sure which one. Tell me which one he said. And then I'll respond.
He said,
I'm guessing he's saying Yukimura.
Scott Sama, Jacques
Your
Sama.
lordship.
Stevenson.
But yeah, but no, the only gun I really didn't like was the one that fired like the explosives. I never got the hang of that one. But if I still had the game installed, I would actually bring up the names of the guns, but
Oh my
I
God.
deleted that to make room for other games. I'll re-download it when I want to play through the DLC.
You're gonna play it again?
Yeah, I
The
want to play
DLC,
through the
yeah.
DLC.
With the
'Cause
platinum trophy
I
of an
do
amateur
enjoy
star
it.
now?
I have the platinum trophy, but the thing is, I enjoyed the world. So when I do play Alan Wake, I do want to then go back to the parts that connect to Alan Wake a little bit more, because there's like a whole DLC for Alan Wake, and like I'd like to play through that. But I'll just be using invincibility and the one-hit kill to play through it.
I wish I recommend, and I'll get into that as well, because I had a whole journey with this.
Yeah. But that's all I was gonna mention, because I was just curious what guns people were using.
So I'm gonna sort of go over all my thoughts and my journey with using the like the gameplay, not even just the weapons, but the gameplay as a whole. So for those that aren't unaware or that are unaware, the gameplay is a third person action shooter. You have a mix of abilities and shooting. The big thing to make aware of here that is incredibly important to gameplay and is also something that deserves to be complimented on is the physics engine in this game. It's incredible.
Yeah.
The physics engine in this game is undeniable in how great it is. It's like really unintrusive. So if you're looking at my game right now, you'll see that there's a slight highlight whenever I turn my camera. That means that that's something that I can grab and interact with. So you're
That's
never
true,
really
yeah.
confused with. And then also if you start to use your powers, things are just destructible. And because the game is like you're in a world where the building's alive and the dimensions are always shifting, it excuses how you're able to just completely destroy a room, walk out, come back, and everything's back to normal again. Like it's given a lore reason for why the game acts the way that it does. The
the big issue here. Oh, I guess I'll go. So you shoot, bang, bang, bang. You have a secondary weapon that you can attach, and there's all kinds of different weapons. If you go into your menu, you can attach things that will make them have different properties, more damage, more spread, better pierce, more damage when you're zoomed, more damage when you're low health. All various things for different guns. And then you also have your powers. You can grab something and throw it. You can jump and float. You can dash in the air or on the ground. And then I just unlocked it, but you can slam the ground. I already forgot how to slam the ground. I already forgot what button.
I
But
don't remember, if I'm gonna be
yeah,
honest, to help you out.
yeah, it doesn't even really matter. Is it R1? No, it's whatever. So those are sort of the limits of your abilities, and you play around them. And that is the thing that really brings this whole gameplay system down is limits. This game has limits in the weirdest places. You have buttons that are literally unused that could be attached to weapon swapping. At any point, you could like press down on your D-pad, and it should do something where like swaps your weapon to like a third weapon. They make it so that you can hit square or X if you're on an Xbox controller, but you only swap between two weapons. You should be able to
Yep.
swap between more than two. Now there is no penalty for going into your menu, going to the weapon option, and then choosing another one mid
Yeah, it's
fight.
just clunky.
It just totally destroys any momentum, and you're reminded very quickly that Remedy is a developer that has focused mostly on story and character driven content. They did Alan Wake, they did Quantum
Quantum Break.
Break or
Yeah.
Realm
Quake.
Pretty sure it was Break.
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break, and they did this game, and they're all sort of linked together, but this is the one that stands out in terms of action. So you're limited into how many weapons you got. You're limited into how many attachments that you can use. You're limited to how many personal mods, and to a certain extent, that's fine. The problem with that, though, is that everything is so slow to unlock. I put in dozens of hours in this game, and if you'll look, I'm still not full leveled. I have guns that are not fully leveled up. Even my original gun my original gun is full leveled up. But I have guns here that I never even bothered or needed to unlock. It wasn't until literally the start of the stream that I unlocked the ability to let you slam into the ground because you never needed it. If you go to, I'd have to go to like a teleporting place to show you the menu to unlock abilities, but you're given these options but not enough resources to take advantage of them, and the only way to really get that is to do side missions. The problem is that early on you're not given a lot of side missions. I know, Julian, you were saying that you were getting distracted by doing side content. That wasn't even scratching the surface. Like, I literally have 8 or 9 missions. If I go into my mission menu, I got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 different missions to do, and that'll
Most
all
of those are
get me.
DLC.
Yeah, yeah, but a good chunk of them are. Find the door, and the thing is, this one, Find the Door, is what do you call it? That's opening another DLC. That isn't even leading into more missions in there.
Yeah, and then there's also a roguelike section that's just like an infinite dungeon.
And then the other big thing is that because this game is really combat focused, but they do two things to make it so that the game is not fun for. And I played through this entire game without even going through the gameplay menu. So I didn't know that there was an invincibility or a one shot or like target assist or anything like that. I was playing it legit, like default. There is no button to get behind cover, even though you're given tons of cover. It would be so helpful if you could just zip to cover.
I kind of agree with
And
that.
then-
Yeah.
And shit, what was the other thing I was gonna say? And you have no way to regenerate health outside of going
Killing enemies.
of killing enemies and picking up these blue orbs. And these little blue orbs don't tell you. There's no numerical value. I never knew exactly how much health I was gonna wind up getting at any given time.
No.
So it's sort of
There's no like. It's not like they're bigger than others or like. There's no queue whatsoever. Like there's no size difference. There's no
It's
numerical
just suddenly I
value. Like,
collect
it's just
blue orb and what's it do?
yeah. You get health and like that. That's it.
And it made it so I had to restart encounters over and over and over because the idea is that you're rewarded for aggression. Then that leads us to another limit. Your ammo. I've got this is a good example. So you're not really given a traditional sniper. You're given this Pierce gun. It has 2 shots. 2 shots.
Sucks.
So and look, I'm hitting R. I'm hitting R2. It does not fire unless it's fully charged. So I have to do this in the midst of combat. I have to wait until it's fully charged before it releases. And if I use both shots before the first shot is done, I have to wait. What is it? 4 seconds before I can shoot again. And in those 4 seconds, if there's no ammo near me and there is a cloaked enemy, because they're invisible enemies, guys, get ready for the end
Yeah.
content. That come
Oh
and
yeah,
shadow and attack you.
yeah. Hate
There's
those.
suicide enemies. There's enemies that fly at you. There's enemies that have rocket launchers, homing
Well,
rocket
Yeah,
launchers.
and
yeah. I remember those.
so
Homing
many of the
rockets.
enemies are very aggressive as well. Like their AI is very
Uh-huh.
aggressive.
Oh, speaking of their AI, there was an ability I forgot. You get the ability to mind control, and this is the first game where I've ever played it where I used the mind control ability because I
Oh yeah, I got the
absolutely
mind control ability.
I
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah,
had to use it.
yeah,
I
you need.
needed somebody to take aggro away from me.
Which I think the mind control ability is one of the abilities you can just completely play through the game without ever getting.
Yeah, I needed that.
The only ones I think that you get automatically is the telekinesis and the floating. Everything else, like they tell you, like, oh, go, you can do this or whatever, but you don't have to. Like, it's the plot never directs you to it. It's just a quest, to like go get the mind control or I forgot what some of the other abilities were. The shield was another one that I don't think is like mandatory for the plot. It's just an extra thing you can go do.
Yeah, and I'm using so that leads me to another limit that you have
Oh,
here is your
evade.
energy. Everything that you do uses up energy, and early on, everything that you do, like you do 3 telekinetic throws, 2 or 3, and your energy's gone. By post game, I can do 5 of these, and then I have to wait for my energy to replenish.
Yeah. Oh yeah, energy goes down quick in that game.
It's super quick, and
That was one of the first things I had to level up was energy and health.
And that's a big problem for a game like this because again, Remedy is a very story narrative focused game, so the HUD is very limited. So it feels like you're more into the game, which is good. But because this is such a resource heavy set of abilities, you need to know a sound needs to play or some visual effect needs to happen to let you know that you've run out of resources or you're about to fall to the ground, that your options have gone. A game like this needs that kind of gameplay experience, but Remedy just didn't do it this game because maybe they didn't realize it, maybe they didn't know it, maybe they weren't expecting to win 10 Game of the Year awards, and so they didn't.
I don't know how they won
attention. I
I
know a couple how, which is the last. It's not really gameplay, but I sort of want to segue from the physics system to this. The graphics in this game are incredible.
It looks very good. It's just
it's an incredibly good looking game, and some of those Game of the Year awards were from visual effects studios or visual effects like awards.
Which I can at least understand that, and I can understand some of the other stuff, but it's like the physics engine again was very good. Also, fun fact about since we were mentioning about leveling up and abilities, there are not enough ability points in the game to max out the skill tree either.
Good to know. I don't even know if I would ever get to the end of that. Yeah, well, maybe in DLC they give you more.
There is not. Nope.
Ugh.
In order to even get enough for the trophy, you have to do every side quest, every main quest, and you have to find hidden locations. There's a bunch of hidden locations that each give you 1 skill point.
Because of course there is.
But yeah, and there's not enough of them, from what I understand, in the entire game to max out the skill tree. So, one positive though about that skill tree that I will mention and does come in handy if anyone ever needs to know it while playing, you can reset the skills on the skill tree at any time.
But for a huge amount of cost.
It's a huge cost.
Of your
well, it's a huge cost early game. Late game, it's not that bad.
How much? I
mean, 30,000 wasn't too bad for me later in the game.
Maybe. Oh, you know why it wasn't for you? You know why it wasn't a big deal for you? Is because you didn't die as much as I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that is a dick. It's like Borderlands in that aspect of you died, you lose money.
10% of your currency. 10.
Yeah.
Let's put that in perspective.
Your
early game, you killed 6 enemies and you died to the 7th. Each of those enemies gave you 10 currency. So you walked out with 70, you lost 7 currency. That's fine. You get better at the game and you go through 6, 7 rooms. Suddenly there's a new enemy type and you have
Mhm.
20,000 currency and you lose 10%, that's not 70 anymore. That's 2,000 currency. If for some reason you die when you have 80,000 currency, that's 8,000 currency and you have to get that. There is no quick way to get it. You just have to
No.
find random enemies and kill them and get little bits of currency back and back and back. So that
Yeah, the amount of
30,000,
currency that they don't give or they give is very rough. But yeah, late game for me, I was doing okay on dying, so I was able to do it. But
I would have to die.
I
I
I
would have
do
to
wish
just to
that they
learn.
made it cheaper for you to reset your skills.
I wish they got it. Oh, I was gonna say I wish they got rid of that the 10% penalty totally. There's no reason for it.
Yeah, even if they got rid of the
It-
10% penalty, that would solve the issue completely because the 30,000 would be negligible.
Yeah.
It would
But
be rough early game, but like by mid game when you'd really want to redo your skills, you'd have more than enough money to then do it. Because that's the nice part about doing redoing skills is that like middle of mid game or late game you realize, oh well, these skills aren't really as useful as I thought they were and stuff like that. Final Fantasy 16 does the same thing where you can reset skills. Except I think it's free in Final Fantasy 16 if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
I haven't done it, but
I had to like do a bunch of bosses and
but it's
stuff.
like I do enjoy the fact that it's like, yeah,
Also, I
you
love builds.
realized, oh, this build is not good enough, or I spec'd into the wrong things. Boom, let me respec real quick.
Now another part
So
of the gameplay, because I'm a big Monster Hunter guy. I love builds. If there's options and trees and I
you loved the
can
mods and
I can
everything
save it.
else.
I hated the mods. I hate the mod
Uh,
system because there's practically
well,
no reason to do them. The changes are negligible for the most extent because whatever bonus that you get for your gun is totally irrelevant when enemies have shields. And near the end of the game, most of your
yeah,
enemies have shields. So all that you really need to do is throw something at them to clear the shield and just make sure your guns have damage mods. That's all you got to do. There is no
yeah.
nuance.
Damage mods were pretty much the only thing.
Yeah,
What gives a better damage percentage? Great, that.
and
The thing I didn't like about them was the fact that you had to like level up the gun to be able to equip more than like one.
And not only did you need currency, you had to fight specific enemies in specific
You have to get the
parts of the
drops,
city to get the
stuff like
right
that.
drops, and you had to
Yep.
make sure. And it was an RNG chance that you would get the drop, and so you'd have to go and farm to do that rather
Well,
than
and
just
those
have it.
drops also are how you get the new guns, which so then you're having to go, well, do I get this new gun or do I get, the like level up this gun? Like, well, the new gun might make this gun obsolete for me,
Yeah, I love the physics engine. I love the idea of having this power gun combo. I love the idea. Also, the ammo should have there should have been a traditional reload, and you should have had active reload. In for
Yeah.
this game to be as action heavy as it is to make it more fun. Like if you're attracting the audience that is interested in shooters like this, you need to have active reload
Weirdly
because
enough, it
you can't.
actually should have taken a lot more cues from Gears of War
Yeah,
because of how aggressive they want you to play.
right, because again, it's pacing. You can't have a situation where you have 10 bullets and 10 bullets is not going to kill somebody, so you need to because I mean, you're kind of rewarded for headshots if you attach a mod that gives you more
Yeah.
headshot damage, so you have to give up
If not, it's negligible.
yeah, so the idea is like you just unload your ammo clip and then you run around and move. So either they needed to make mobility more forgiving, which means that you could dash more, which means that you needed to have better energy consumption,
Well, either
or they
that
needed
or
to make your
dash
ammo
not be an energy
yeah,
or take energy.
or they needed to have the guns be more active, whether it was an active reload or you can manually reload when you're low and get like a bonus, something to give you more urgency when you're playing the game. Because you can't just play the game for a little bit and then not play it while you wait for ammo to come back and then play it again and then not play it. The balance is all off. I love the physics engine. I love the combination of gameplay, but the limits are what kill this game and make it so frustrating. And then the balance, because you'll very quickly find if you're playing default, if you're playing with invincibility or one shot or like aim assist or whatever, you won't feel it as much. But if you're playing default, which is they say the way that they intended it,
Yeah.
you're gonna feel those limits. And because there is no cover system, there's no reward for doing damage because you have to run into danger in order to get yourself healed. there it
Yeah.
doesn't
There's
feel
not
rewarding to
there's not
play.
even ways to like really stun enemies too well. Because I don't think shooting the legs really like stops them or something to try and give you a little extra time,
You
or
have to throw something at them, which
yeah,
if you're
which
playing
takes
the game in
energy.
which you would have thrown at the shield enemy,
I
not
like
at another enemy who's like
Correct,
aggressive,
yeah.
harassing
And
you.
that's the
So
problem. Is it's like so even to like stun them to try and get time for your gun to reload is taking energy that you were already using for something else. Like
and
it's just a
somebody
major
might
issue with that.
yeah and somebody might hear it and say, oh well, they just it's just instant decision making, and that's what makes it cool and fun. But the thing is, it's you don't have urgency. Even though you have to make these decisions, they're not fun decisions to make, and you don't have options to do it. You don't have a way to have urgency in the gameplay that you're doing. You're waiting on systems. And if this is something like an MMO, sure, that's fine. Wait and then go and fight your rotation. But in a game like this, an action game, you have to have urgency.
Well, and it's also a matter of like the game encourages the urgency. Like it's not like they're just throwing a few enemies at you. Like they're throwing massive waves of enemies at you, and they're throwing a lot of aggressive enemies at you, and they're throwing enemies that are literally flying towards you that you have to respond to. Like you cannot choose to not respond to the flying kamikaze going at you.
There is no
Like
stealth mechanic. Once you're alerted, like everybody's on you. Like they know
yeah,
exactly where you
Yeah.
are.
yeah, everyone in the room immediately knows you're there, they know your location, and they will be coming at you instantly. And that's the problem is it's like, well, to your point, there is no quick decision making because the game's not giving you the tools to do that. Your decision making is, okay, I have to deal with the flying kamikaze coming at me. Like, so cool, this guy to my right that was blindsiding me with a homing rocket, that's just how it is. Like, how was I supposed to deal with both in this situation given the tools I have? And
Yeah.
there is none. Like, there is no tool that would have come in handy for that. There's no way you could go, okay, let me shoot a few times and then dash out of the way or something like that. Like, yes, you have a dash, but number one, the camera is not the greatest with showing your surroundings. I got blindsided so much.
You have to be
Um,
constantly turning your camera constantly.
Yeah, and it's like so, and even then, if you were, okay, let me with the kamikaze while I'm shooting at him, throw an item at a shield enemy. That's already used up about half of your freaking energy meter. So it's like there's a lot of issues with the gameplay, and I feel it's challenging for the wrong reasons.
It's hampered by the limitations that they designed intentionally, and they were the wrong decisions. The idea that they had and the system that they or the world that they built it in is great, but these limitations make it absolutely not fun. And when you give and they're like, well, then just go into the options and make it so that you are totally invincible. Well, that's not what I wanted either. If you wanted me to play a
No,
game where I didn't have to actually play the game, you should have just made a narrative game again. You didn't have to make a shooting
yeah,
system. You could have just given me unlimited energy and I just throw stuff like the whole time. It could have just been a mobile game. There was no reason to spend all this money to make this if you were just gonna expect to give me that option if I were to complain. You should have made a better balanced game.
yeah, and it should be noted. I don't know what version you were playing, but I was playing like the Ultimate Edition on PS5.
That's the one that they gave us. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I
what I
actually
like.
have like for whatever reason two like the regular base PS4 version as well that was free like at some point. Because it gave me an option to choose which one I wanted to download it. But
That's
so it's
fine.
like I find it funny that even in the Ultimate Edition they didn't go back to change or balance any of this.
Because there wasn't
Like
anything ultimate about it other than they added the DLC. It was just a
yeah,
buzzword for marketing.
but it's like you would think. And I don't know. To be fair, I don't know if that's if they added the invincibility and the one hit kill to that, or if that was in the base game.
I think when I was doing my post game research, there were oh god, I hate these people. I got invisible flying people that I have to fight, and I'm not gonna
Oh,
bother
that's
with it.
always fun.
Yeah.
The dudes in the chairs are also really fucking annoying.
Oh yeah, fuck
You
those
can
guys.
float around.
Yeah, in the interviews I was reading, they were talking about how they expected people to play the game. So the invincibility and stuff was base game.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if that was
And I
also
got hit
part of
twice
the.
by an enemy who was off camera, and I'm about to die.
See,
I have absolutely no way to heal or find myself. There is no covering system. There's no
that's
targeting
another
system.
thing that really the game could have used was like some kind of healing item, even if you limited it. I mean, fucking Dark Souls has a healing item.
Yeah.
Like, it's a matter of like, give me something. Even if Final Fantasy 16 is a great example. You start out with 4 potions. That you like your carry capacity or whatever is 4 potions. It gives you a limit on how much you can heal without having to restock, but there is some method of healing. In this, it's like, well, you can heal if you're good enough to, kill them while you're dying, and it's like
I'm
that's
dead.
not great. Like,
I hit this guy. I destroyed his shield. I shot him a couple times. No health dropped, and I was just gonna die to whatever hit came
Yep.
next. That's
and that's
just
the other
game.
thing is, health is not a guaranteed drop.
That's just the game. That's just what the game is. And
so yeah,
also, if you go, I had 14, or I had 18,000. I'm down to 16,000 currency.
Yeah. Like I said,
I
it
automatically saved.
sucks that I have to say, like, you're gonna only really have fun with this game if you play on one-hit kill mode with invincibility. Like, but I really feel that, like, and based on all 4 of our experience, that sounds like we would all agree on that. Like, that playing it as intended is not fun,
So
and it's
I see the gem of what's
weird.
here. So like I was able to power through it, but by the end of the game, I was just like, I just want this to be over. Overall, I enjoy the world and I enjoy the concept of everything, but I would never play through this game again. If I recommend, and I do recommend people play this game, but I recommend turn on invincibility, turn on one hit kills, turn on super aim assist. Do it.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be worth it.
Just do it, play for the story,
yeah.
do the side stuff, and call it a day. Like,
there is no reason to become good at this game unless you
no,
have a
there's
speedrunner
no
or something.
reason to play through like the archaic design choices that they made. Like it's sad to say that, but honestly, I love the promise of this game a lot more than actually playing the game.
If a sequel
Like,
comes out, I'm gonna play it.
um,
I mean, now that we've played this game and I'm in
Yeah.
this world, I like it. I'll play the sequel.
Because again, like we've mentioned before, like I loved the lore and I loved like the world building of it. I just didn't like Jesse's story.
She was a flat character, and flat. I don't use flat in a derogatory term. I use that in a
Flat
literary term. I use that in the not literal, but the literature term. Flat. Who she is at the beginning of the game of the story is exactly who she is at the end. There is no growth, good or bad. She's just a flat character. She is who she is. It's reliable, but it's not interesting.
Yeah, like she's not a bad character. She's just there. Like, she's fine. Like, I didn't hate her. I just found her kind of dull.
Yeah, Dr. Darling was the who the main character should have been about. It should have been his story because he starts off as somebody who didn't have much promise outside of this world of the supernatural, but he had the right headspace for it. He came in, became a head researcher, really thrived, but you could still tell that he wasn't the most socially acceptable person. And then as he sort of realizes what's going on, he starts to have these inner demons and this conflict with what he's done and what he's becoming. And so he makes the ultimate sacrifice in order to have some kind of entity be available to fight this hiss entity. And where he is now, we don't know, but his story was way more interesting than Jesse's. He had growth and character development, and he's also just kind of silly. And I want to end here. This Remedy, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, they're super horny for wanting to be a band. Like, they have like 3 or 4 original songs, and you don't get achievements, you don't get any rewards, but you can just sit through and listen to songs that they wrote and performed in game.
So is the song when you're going through the maze one of theirs?
Yeah, it's the
because
best.
I loved that song. Like, I straight up was like, this song is great.
So,
like, holy shit, I loved it.
Yeah, I wanted to lead from the songs into the end of the game, because the end of the game is where like I got so pissed.
I loved that maze sequence.
you hit a wall, and you're told like this is an AEW, an altered event or whatever, and
Altered World event.
yeah, altered world
AWE.
event, and so you have to have permission to go through this maze, and eventually you do get permission. I'm not gonna go into all that because it's a whole other thing that's not really relevant to here.
Yeah,
You do
with
get
a character
permission,
that annoys the shit out of me.
and as soon as
Because
you
you
get
don't get enough
in,
information.
oh yeah, it's all yeah, it's not relevant. As soon as you get into this hard metal rock song kicks in, and you feel like momentum's what you need, and you start running through. And all the
Yes.
shit that I was complaining about, where it's like, you have to hit these arenas, or you have to manage your decisions and all that. All this
Oh,
shit's
God.
gone because the world changes. Where like you just have to keep moving. You just keep moving and keep moving and keep moving until you get to the
Yeah.
end.
And I
It's
also
so
feel like
cool.
they throw some really balanced enemies at you. Like the groups of enemies are more like 4 or 5 enemies, like maybe a group of 3. Like because they want you to just keep moving. They want you to almost really in time to the music go through the maze. And it feels so fun and so rewarding on that one.
Now
Like
that
that
feel
that was like one of the best parts of the game,
Yeah,
hands down.
go to YouTube and look up like Maze Fight in Control, and it's 100% worth it. The song's really good too. And shortly after, you get to the end area where you're fighting in the world of that giant upside down pyramid, and I was so pissed because that's what the whole game should have been. You're put into an arena, and the pyramid's like, oh shit, we're dying. We need you to save us. We're gonna unlock your potential or whatever. And so you see the enemies that used to be level 6, 7, 8 are suddenly level 30, but you're boosted to full power, like beyond what you can unlock in the normal game. And suddenly, the game is balanced. The shooting
Yeah.
feels good, the energy feels good, your powers feel great, you're able to dash and move around exactly the way that you want to. It feels so fun. That's exactly what the whole game should have been. Instead
Yeah.
of like this slow drip of you getting powers or getting stronger, but you have to deal with these bullet sponges of enemies. That room is what the game should have been, and you have to play it through the entire game to get it. And it's one, unless they're in the DLC, but it's one instance where the game
Yeah.
is perfectly balanced. It's exactly well, other than ammo. I was still pissed about like running out of ammo, but
Yeah,
still,
but it at least felt a lot better. Like
yeah.
it was, to your point, the most balanced part of the game was the maze and
Fuck.
then the ending.
Yeah, I absolutely love that part. It's great, and then they ended on a stupid cutscene where she saves her brother. Whatever.
Guys,
It was so bad. Huh.
hey, real quick, I think I
Yeah.
might need to stop for a little while.
We're done.
You
We're
okay?
about done.
I just kind of threw up a few times.
Oh,
No idea what's wrong. It's
okay.
not.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it was the. I think it was those chicken quesadillas I had earlier today.
Ooh.
Man, you
have
should
anything
not have
for your
ordered the
stomach?
chicken quesadillas from OmniJam's Taqueria and used condom before.
Hey! No, we don't need to be putting that out there. We have A's across the board. They're lowercase A's, but they're A's.
Like, I'm pretty sure that one was just a D that you erased some things on. Like,
No. Lowercase A.
Ugh.
Don't eat the condoms. That's probably what it was.
Well, yeah.
Are you gonna end stream then and go?
Yeah, I hate the fact that my stream only lasted.
I mean, yeah, if you're puking, like, go ahead and
Like,
go.
Fucking Julian, go test. Oh no.
Oh my god, Julian posted pictures of his vomit in our private Discord channel. It's so
Ew.
gross. Julian, why would you send that to us?
I would never.
Why is,
some
there,
kind of
why is there
pervert?
blood in it?
Why would
Yeah.
I take a pic? I'm not gonna take
And
a picture
hair.
of what's
Why
in
is there blood and hair in your vomit?
Is that semen?
Ugh, gross. Julian, did you blow a deer?
It's called venison.
Yeah.
I fucking hate you guys. Fucking hate you guys.
That was a 10-point buck, sir.
I fucking hate you guys. My body's fucking up.
Okay, you can go. Before he leaves, we're gonna play playing Tidefall 2 next month, so we look forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm still streaming though.
What you gonna be streaming?
Do you want to play Fall Guys again? We gotta keep that. I gotta keep playing that or grinding that Fame Pass.
I can
Well,
play for a
how
little
about
bit.
this? I'll play it, and if you guys want to join, you can. And
Okay.
If not,
Fucking. You guys are mean. Also,
Why?
Bobby is in our chat. He's like, take a test. The new variant is all stomach related. It's moving around really bad right now. A lot of people have it. Julian, go. I doubt that is it.
I haven't
but
heard anything about that.
I doubt it's whatever that new COVID variant everyone keeps talking about is. But I'm gonna. But it's like if this lasts too long, too long, I was gonna be because it's not like I felt and I did not feel any other kind of sickness. It's just I don't. It's like I just feel sick to my stomach. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also just be something you ate.
Like I said, I haven't.
It is very likely since that's just
If
what
you're in
happens.
I mean, I don't know if you have any tests or if you have just stomach medicine in general, but if you find yourself in a bad spot,
I have
just hit-
I have kale pectate actually.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, you can DM me and I'll get you a little bit of funds so you can like Uber Eats yourself some medicine or whatever.
No,
I don't know how all that works anyway.
I
Anymore.
got kale pectate.
I don't know either.
Hopefully it'll let me fucking sleep or something. Because this vomit is taking out all my what little energy I had left. To be honest.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Like,
Keep it down for another second.
go.
Just keep it down for another second. Fucking. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm sorry, stream. Bye. I love you.
Bye.